Hi my dolls, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Natasha, and in today's video we are going to be talking about the New Year reset, or how to reset for the New Year. And so before we get started, please give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. So I know that it's not January and we're at the end of Feb, and most people do their New Year's reset in the beginning of the year. But I haven't done my New Year's reset, and I thought, why don't I just film this and share what I'm about to do with you guys. At the end of the day, doing a New Year's reset or doing a reset in general isn't really like time sensitive. It's more so subjective to everyone's different needs, and that may vary throughout the year. So personally, I needed to do a reset because it was very evident in my life that I needed to do a reset. I shot a video not so long ago, and I feel like the video emphasized what I was feeling for some time. As I was watching that video that I did, I realized how all over the place I seemed. I seemed like I couldn't really think straight. Even in the preparation for that video, I just felt all over the place. And after I had published it already, it occurred to me that, oh, I am actually just out of my natural flow. I am out of the flow that keeps me on top of things, that keeps me focused, that keeps me at my best. And it is time for me to do a reset. So if you're like myself and you need to do a reset, I will show you how you can do it. In this video, I will give you 5 steps as to how you can reset your life, no matter whether it's in the beginning of the year or mid-year, first quarter, second quarter, whatever. Whenever you need it, these steps will probably help you reset. So before I get into how you can reset, I think it's probably fair for me to actually explain why or how to notice that you need a reset, right? If you feel sluggish a lot of the time, if you lack focus, if you feel like you're all over the place, if you feel like you're waking up exhausted and you still need a lot more sleep, or more than anything, if you feel like you are not prepared and sharp and on top of your game, you are probably in a desperate need of a reset. The first step that you can do when you're resetting, have I been saying restep this whole time? The first thing that you can do when you reset is to reflect or audit the past year. Now, what is so amazing about reflecting is that you're able to identify from the outside looking in as to what was very beneficial to you, what helped you, what gave you life, what kept you going, and you are able to identify the certain traits and habits, because if that worked then, we can only work on it now or make it even better, right? So you definitely want to incorporate only the things that worked in the previous year into your new year or going forth, right? And honestly, sometimes a lot of people just happen to go out of balance or fall out of balance. And so doing a reflection or auditing your past year will help you just hop right back into your regular schedule. Personally, for me, things that really help me, which I'll also expand on a little bit later in the video, is just actually having a very clear routine. When I think it was from spring last year into summer, I had a very strict routine. And because I had a strict routine, I really felt like I was on top of my game. Luckily for me, I did not lose my routine. I have decided to incorporate it back into my daily life. And that has been, or is starting to work for me a lot more better. Yes, it is hard because I did fall off the bandwagon a little bit, but I know that routine worked really well for me, and so only getting back on it is going to be very beneficial to me. Okay, so another thing that can help you get back onto your or help you reset your new year is getting a proper maintenance schedule. Now, if you're a woman, you are probably, and I mean, this is also applicable to guys, but the examples I'm going to give are mostly for women. So if you're a guy, just try imagine how this could apply to you. But when it comes to resetting or like being on top of your game, you want to minimize the amount of like tedious stuff that you do throughout your day, your week, your month, right? And having a maintenance day is so important at the beginning of every month, right? And so I don't know if you are familiar with the whole concept of a maintenance day, but having a maintenance day basically is all of the high maintenance stuff that you do in one day to make you low maintenance throughout the month. And I'll give you examples, right? If you get your hair braided in the beginning of your month, you don't have to worry about braiding your hair or doing your hair throughout the month. So your hair is out the way. Nails. If you're a girly who likes doing her nails, then get your nails done in the beginning of the month or during like on your maintenance day. What I've also noticed with nails is that a lot of people who, if you're gonna do like maintenance for like the corporate girlies or like the simple girlies, what they usually do is they get nails in the same shade as their natural nails, so that when it starts to grow out, it's not really detectable. Unlike getting your nails done, and if it's like a lime green, it's going to be very detectable when it starts growing out, which means you might need to just hop in for another maintenance day or for a filling, right? Another example of maintenance is, getting your waxes done, getting your brows laminated, getting your facials, getting lashes done. All of these things make it so much more easier for you throughout the month to get up in the middle of the day, or not in the middle of the day, in the morning, and have less to worry about and less to do, right? Because it can be so consuming, so time consuming and distracting also, when every morning you need to figure out how you're going to do your hair, you need to figure out your makeup. But if you have lashes and your brows are laminated and you get facials regularly, then that's kind of sorted, So getting your maintenance done is going to help you kind of reset into the beginning of the or your year, so that you're also able to focus your energy on other things. Because also, like, we're not infinite beings. We don't have infinite like sources of like energy, and so you wanna be able to divert as much energy to the things that like are really important, unlike having to do your brows every morning. Okay, so tip number 3 on how to reset really properly or reset your year is to prioritize preparation. So what that looks like is preparing at the beginning of the week or at the end of the week for the week ahead, and also preparing day before. So let's start with the weekly preparation, right? I made a video on like routines a couple of months ago. I'll link it down below. But when it comes to your maintenance for the week, what I usually do is I start off my Sunday mornings doing my laundry. I hang up my laundry, quickly head to church, come back, and I start cleaning. It feels so good when you start the week off in a really clean house. I personally cannot stand like a really messy home. So when you start the week off in a clean home, it just makes everything so much better. Also because for me personally, like it's just so like I don't know what the word is, but it really gets to me emotionally when my space is not clean. Because at the end of the day, when you come back from work, you want to unwind and relax in like a clean and tidy environment, in a welcoming environment. And so when you start off the week on in a not so great space, then it really can get to you, or in my case it sometimes does. And so my weekly maintenance would be me doing my laundry, making sure that everything is ironed and hanging, so that the next day I don't have to worry about ironing anything. I just take it off the hanger, get dressed, and go. I sometimes will plan outfits, but I wear a lot of basics, so that kind of just goes with everything else. If you are someone who is a lot more stylish, then it would be kind of beneficial to like maybe even plan outfits. Always plan an extra outfit. Sorry about that, my camera died. But as I was saying, that having clothes hanging up in the cupboard ready to go makes life so much easier. What I would also advise is having an extra set or like an extra outfit just in case the weather might change or the occasion might change. Either way, having that ready to go is just going to cut your preparation time, or like, yeah, it's going to cut your preparation time so much shorter. I also meal prep. At first, I used to meal prep both my lunch and dinner, but right now I am just going to prep my lunch just until I am back home and I'm settled. But prepping your meals ahead of time makes it really easy to just grab it and go. I do know that not everyone likes to meal prep. For some people, they find it like not so fresh to have in the next morning or whenever. And so I would advise you to maybe just keep your meal prep to a day or 2 days ahead of time. Anything more than that might kind of lose its quality and taste. And although you are saving yourself time in making the meal, you kind of have to like pay for it with a not so fresh meal. So that would be weekly preparations. When it comes to daily preparations, it is the small things that make a really big difference. So at the end of the day, maybe if you're not into meal prepping like days ahead, maybe for the night before, make tomorrow's lunch. When you're making dinner, make lunch as well, so that tomorrow when you have lunch, you don't really have to worry about preparing lunch, right? On top of that, it is just also, it could be things like preparing for the day ahead in terms of your work, so that you know what you need to do, that you've revised it. All of those type of preparations kind of make you feel a lot more confident in what you're doing when you have to show up for work. But in terms of like things that you can do at home, I would say also what might not feel like preparation, but I really feel like it is actually like journaling and unwinding down from your day. If you are offloading the things that you kind of went through during the day, whether it be emotionally, physically, mentally, and you're jotting that down, mentally you are preparing your mind for like the end of day. Your mind is not really active in the sense of like, oh, I have to do this next and I have to do that next. It's as you reflect on the day, you're kind of offloading off your mind. You're offloading off your mind. And what ends up happening is that you wake up the next day feeling a little bit more lighter because you're not carrying the emotional baggage from the day before. And I know it might not seem like a lot of things, but there's so many little things that happen throughout our days that if we're not like mindful of, or like we don't reflect on, can actually like pile up in the future. So preparation beforehand is very key when it comes to maintaining a healthy schedule throughout your year, and also resetting and getting back into a healthy schedule. The fourth step is to declutter. I touched on this a little bit in the previous step when I spoke about journaling. That would be decluttering your mind and your heart. I was trying to say mind and heart at the same time. But journaling is decluttering your mind and your heart. But physical decluttering, where you declutter your space, just makes life so much more easier, because you don't really have to worry about this huge thing that you need to declutter when it's time. And I'll give you an example of that, right? When you say you have a car, and in your car you don't have a little bin, right? And you are the type of person who likes to get a nice coffee every morning on your way to work. If you let those coffee cups pile up in your car instead of taking them out and throwing them in the bin every time you get out of the car, what's going to happen? It's going to pile up over time. It's going to pile up, and it will be a lot more to clean. So decluttering, or doing like small decluttering periods or tasks, ends up making future declutterings less work because you've already done most of the work, right? And so when it comes to your physical space, I did touch on this a bit earlier. When it comes to your physical space, declutter every now and again. I like to declutter at the end of the day before I do my night routine, just so that in the next morning I don't have to worry about certain things. All of that is done, and none of it is gonna pile up because I've been doing a little bit as the week has been going on. The last point of this video is to fuel yourself. Now, when you are resetting, it is so important to understand and know and remind yourself that you need fuel to go on about your day. And when you fuel yourself, right, this can be more than like one thing. You can fuel yourself through nutritional eating, right? The more you feed your body what it needs, the more it is able to do better. And so when it comes to resetting, it's kind of hard to try do better or get into a better healthy routine when the foods you're eating aren't giving you the right energy, aren't helping your body metabolize properly, aren't helping your body to build its immune system or to drain the toxins out of itself. Those things are going to compound over time and it's going to drag you down. So it is so important that when you do your reset, also think about how can you fuel your body so that it's able to perform at its best, right? So those are what I mentioned are like the physical ways of how you can fuel your body through food, right? But you can fuel your body in more than one ways, and that is the things that your mind consumes as well, and the things that your body does, right? And so when it comes to your mind, fuel your body with things that's going to motivate you, uplift you, or inspire you, right? Things that are kind of good for you ultimately, that maybe you learn something from. This would be like the opposite of like doom scrolling, the opposite of like social media and all of these things. Yes, social media can be inspiring, but also social media is designed to be addictive. So think about how you can feed your mind, maybe through a book, maybe through listening to a really good podcast. And then when it comes to fueling your body, this can be through exercise. Now, I do want to emphasize that when it comes to your body, it's not necessarily like cardio things all the time, but finding your balance with your body. So finding the things that like give you energy, but the things that also help you relax, the things that help you regulate your nervous system. I personally like to go for a walk every single day. I cannot go to sleep, and I will not have quality sleep if I do not go for a walk a day, or if I do not get in enough steps, right? And so that's just a way that I feel myself. I know that if I go on a walk every single day, I'm going to have really good quality sleep, which means I'm going to wake up really, really good the next morning, or like feeling really energized the next morning. I do have a bonus tip for you guys. Throughout the whole of 2025 so far, the one thing I have heard the most is interests make you interesting, right? So going out, finding interest, building your interest and your passions make you interesting. But I want to take it a step further. Interests make your life interesting for yourself, right? So when you are kind of in a space where you feel like you need to reset and you need to find yourself again, maybe also consider finding more interests or building on your interests. What I'm trying to say is that the more you have things that are interesting in your life, the more you have things to look forward to. And so maybe that also might be a point that you might need to consider, that if you are kind of falling into bad habits, there might be like a lack of interest or a lack of passion in certain spaces, and maybe that might like open up room for new interests. Personally, for me, I studied Mandarin last year. I started studying Mandarin last year, and I can say like I'm at a very basic level. I can have like an introductory conversation with someone who speaks Mandarin, but I would like to become very fluent in Mandarin, and that's something that I'm going to do, and it's something I look forward to. So with you, find a new interest that ultimately will, make you look forward to it. Anyway, that is it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and comments. Also share it with your friends or family, and I will see you in the next one.